question?
All right, guys, so now we're about to do Kendra's shampoo. And what I like to do whenever I shampoo my locks is there's 3 parts to it. There's actually 4. There's rinse, and then there's shampoo, and then there's condition, and then there is rinse again. So I start off with my rinsing because it's almost like how you soak dirty plates in a sink of hot water before you start washing them. That is the idea, is you want to kind of give the debris or buildup or whatever may be in your client's head or just product from their last retwist an opportunity to absorb the water and break up a little bit, okay? So when you're washing locks or shampooing locks, which is the more professional term, you always want to make sure that you have something with really, really high water pressure. And I recommend shampooing the locks with as warm of the water that your client can stand. So I always test the water on myself first. The water okay, Kendra? So now I'm going through and I am rinsing her hair as if it already has product in it. I'm rinsing her hair as if I have shampooed it already, and I'm rinsing out the shampoo. And I feel like that gives me a head start on getting a super good cleanse on her locks, because you have to keep in mind that we're not shampooing free-flowing hair. We are shampooing locks that have been growing for years, and it's compacted tightly together. So it takes a little bit more water for the water to be saturated all the way through the lock, and you also need that water pressure to help knock out some of the debris. Now, if this is a client that you've been shampooing every 2, 3, or 4 weeks, even 6 weeks faithfully, you'll find that they won't have much product in their hair because they've been working with you to keep their locks really, really clean, or they've been shampooing them themselves at home. So the first part of your shampoo, especially when their locks are mature meaning the locks are locked together, they're no longer being trained to go in a specific direction, they're no longer being trained to stay together, and you don't have to be concerned about the water pressure washing out the lock that you're trying to develop. You're at a point in stage in your lock journey where you don't have to worry about disrupting the lock process by vigorously scrubbing the scalp or by putting too much water pressure. Kendra has those type of mature locks, which is a really, really good thing because we can use the water pressure that we need to kind of help the pre-poo process, as some people would call it. And as you're shampooing or rinsing, as you're rinsing, you'll be able to see a little bit of the product coming off of her hair in the sink. And it will look like the little bubbles that you see when you take a bath and the dirt starts to come off of you. It'll look just like that. So you just keep rinsing until you don't see that anymore bubbling up at the sink, okay? So now we've got Kendra nice and rinsed really, really well. She is ready for her shampoo. The first shampoo that I like to use is always going to be some type of shampoo that is anti-itch and anti-dandruff and things like that, because that's just the way that I like to do things. I like to take care of the scalp and I like to take care of the hair, which means that you have to be a stylist or a loctician that is willing to invest into the specialty shampoos and conditioners for your clients, okay? So today, my first shampoo is going to be a Scalp L therapeutic treatment for your scalp. It gives you a healthier scalp, okay? So my first shampoo is always focusing on the scalp. And I go through and I emulsify it in my hands, and then I work it through the scalp. Now, there's a little thing with locks that I like to call a scrub distance. You may be asking yourself, what is a scrub distance? If you look at Kendra's lock closely, you'll see that the width of her lock is only about that wide. So if I am scrubbing her hair and I'm scrubbing in a motion like this and I'm going past that space, that means that it's very possible that I could be popping some of her hairs. It's very possible that it's uncomfortable to her because I'm pulling her hairs, and we don't want to pop any hairs because all it takes is 1, 2, or 3 hairs to be popped or pulled away from a lock for you to begin to see thinning within the next couple of months. As the hair grows out, it's gonna have to regenerate that hair. And while it's regenerating that hair, that part of the lock could definitely grow a little thinner. And so, like I said a few seconds ago, you want your client to be comfortable. So you only want to scrub the distance of the locks, the width of the locks. You don't want to go farther because your hands will get tangled up in the hair and it's going to be uncomfortable for your client, and it's going to possibly cause damage and thinner locks. Another tip that you need to be mindful of is, I know a lot of times when we're at home and we shampoo hair, we like to use our nails, but everyone has different sensitivity levels. So everyone's not going to be comfortable with you using your nails to scrub their scalp. So you want to ensure that you're just using the palm of your hand to give a good scrub, or just like the balls of your fingers and just putting a little bit of extra pressure. I feel as though this also gives your client a euphoric feeling like they're getting a scalp massage, which also adds value to your service. So I'm scrubbing. I've got shampoo all worked out throughout her scalp. And the main thing that you need to be concerned about is that when you're shampooing a client's hair and you do the first shampoo is usually never going to lather up all the way, because as the shampoo is connecting to the dirt and the debris and the oil and the skin that has come off of her and shed off and things like that, it's not going to bubble up. You usually will see more bubbles with your second and third shampoo. How's that feel, Kendra?
Feels good.
Good. So I like to check on my clients throughout every step of whatever it is I'm doing. So once again, this is her first shampoo. It's not bubbling up. And as you see, I've not really gone through and worked my way through the locks yet because I'm just focusing on her scalp. And if the scalp is in really, really bad condition, there's a lot of dandruff, a lot of debris, I haven't seen them in a while, for the most part, I will shampoo their hair twice. It's usually 2 to 4 times when I shampoo locks, but it's closer to 3 and 4 if they have a lot of debris in their hair and if they have a lot of dandruff or buildup, or if I just haven't seen them in a while, maybe they traveled and another loctician was using a different product on them. Whatever the case may be, I try to make sure that I start off with a clean canvas, because after all, this is your artwork. So now we've shampooed her scalp and cleansed it really, really well. And like I said when we first got started, Kendra's scalp was really, really clean. She didn't have a lot of product in her hair. And so now we're rinsing the scalp, but when I rinse the scalp, I'm also sure to make sure that I'm rinsing through her locks as well. So it's very, very important when you're rinsing to ensure that before you move on to your next step, that you rinse the hair all the way to the point that there is no more shampoo in their hair before you move to your next step. I'm lifting her locks up to ensure that I'm getting the middle part of her scalp. Sometimes you'll have clients and one head of locks can really easily be like 1, 2, or 3 heads of hair. Now what you see me doing here is I'm taking her locks and I'm picking them up and I'm holding the water pressure in and I'm squeezing it with her locks and forcing the water through her locks to ensure that I'm getting as much debris out that I can, because the truth of the matter is what doesn't come out in the wash will surely come out in the rinse if you rinse well enough. If you shampoo for 5 minutes, you're rinsing for 10 minutes. Is your rule of thumb with locks. So now we're gonna go through, I'm shampooing with some New Expressions moisturizing conditioning shampoo. Kendra's scalp is not in any type of bad condition. Her locks are fairly clean. And I like to go through and I emulsify my shampoo all through my hands. And I work it through the locks. I put it on the top part of her crown, and I open her locks up and I put some in the middle. And then I emulsify it again, and then I work it through the back. If you do this little 3-step part of shampooing your locks, you won't have to worry about wasting product, because as you see, it bubbles up and begins to move through the hair. Now, if you're using a shampoo that does bubble up or suds up, once you see this, that's a good sign that your client's hair is close to being really, really clean. If you shampoo her hair and it looks like the first shampoo and you don't see the bubbles sudding up and you're using a soap or shampoo that suds up, then that may mean that after this shampoo you may want to come back and do it again, okay? So although I've already shampooed her scalp, I still go through and give the scalp a good scrubbing just for massaging purposes and to ensure that anything that I may have left on the scalp from the first shampoo is going to be removed out. So as you see, the hair is bubbling up, and I will scrub her scalp, and as it bubbles up, I work it through her locks. That is to ensure that I'm not wasting product and just loading her head up with a bunch of shampoo just for the sake of using a bunch of shampoo. It doesn't take a lot of shampoo to get hair clean, especially when it's pretty much cleansed already. So you want to keep in mind whenever you're shampooing locks that you are it's almost like washing clothes. When you're washing clothes in a basket or whatever you wash clothes in, you pick those clothes up and you rub them together, okay? So locks are thicker than a pair of jeans even sometimes. So I like to take the locks and rub them together and work the shampoo product throughout the locks as I shampoo. So you'll see me pick them up and I'll kind of Indian rub them like I'm trying to start a fire. And I'll pick up small sections of the hair and rub it throughout all the way. Sometimes with locks you won't see the suds all the way through because the hair is so thick. So now that I've pretty much scrubbed all of her locks, and you're gonna have to put some elbow grease into it with locks. You are not shampooing free-flowing hair. This is hair that's been growing on her head for the past 3 years. This hair is compacted together. This hair takes a lot more rinsing and a little bit more elbow grease to ensure that you're getting all of the stuff out of it that you need to get out of it, okay? The cleaner your client's hair, the quicker they will dry under the dryer. The cleaner their hair is, the less product that you really need to use on them at the station when we go back to get it retwisted. So what I did right now, I just wet the hair a little bit just to kind of reactivate that shampoo. And it also moved the shampoo down the shaft of her scalp a little. I mean, not her scalp, but her lock a little. And I'm gonna grab just a little more. We don't need much of it. Okay, so we did about 3 shampoos, guys. Force the habit, I can't help it. So now we're gonna get back to rinsing. Always make sure you rinse your hands off so you're not rinsing off her hair and then putting soap right back in her hair with your hands. So I always start at the top because then the soap will rinse down and I won't have to re-rinse the top again. Whereas if you start at the bottom and then you come to the top, you're gonna rinse all the soap off of the bottom and then come to the top and put more soap where you already rinsed. So work smarter, not harder.